I just think it's a time of the passing of the torch, and I think some people are reluctant to pass the torch.
They don't want to pass the torch because the torch is like full of money and they want to hold on to that and they don't want to give it to the people who actually know how to spend it wisely, like Abrams and, others who are, Katie Porter, people who are financially astute. There are a lot of Democrats, Pelosi chief among them, who seem to enjoy losing to the Republicans because it's a fundraising opportunity, even though we are literally in a existential threat. And so that whole mode of thinking that we just, the Democrats exist, so we just throw money in them race after race, and then they get some power, and then they don't use any of their power to hold anyone accountable, and nothing changes. That's got to go. We're going to be pushing everybody for real accountability, for holding the Trump regime accountable, but also changing a lot of these structural impediments that allowed Trump to rise in the first place. And what's cool is that for once, it's a little less lonely. People recognize these problems are out there. Just over the last decade, just a tremendous change in how people talk about systemic racism, how people talk about climate change, like a lot of things that people were both siding on the Democratic side, not just on the GOP side, but the Democrats were doing like both sides with all this shit. They've stopped doing that. And so that's a plus. It's the kind of thing you don't really notice until you kind of look back 10 years and you realize what the dialogue around certain conversations, like the economy, for example, the pre-Occupy Wall Street discussion of the economy and economic injustice and what the minimum wage should be, like that's changed enormously. So there's a whole new set of expectations, and expectations are very important. I get scared when people lose their expectations in terms of what they think is just and right, not in terms of what they think they might actually get, because everyone knows they're probably going to get screwed over in some capacity, but in terms of what they think they deserve, because everyone deserves a lot more than what they've been getting. That's been true across the board. And when I see people give in and just are grateful for scraps, like that's the most depressing thing to witness. But that's not what happened tonight.